Should Kingdom Hearts 1 get a remake? Let's talk about it. It has now been over 22 years since the release of the original Kingdom Hearts on the PlayStation 2 back in 2002. Doesn't really need to be said, but of course, it's a classic. It's amazing. People still love it. People still play it all the time to this day. And I think it has even more love now than it used to back in the day. I could go on a big spiel about why this game is amazing and why it's so awesome. I have a whole video talking about it if you want to go check that out. But to put it simply and cleanly, I make jokes on this channel, guys. The aesthetics that they have in this game are just amazing. The graphics still hold up to this day, even if you're playing it on the original PS2. The tone that they set in this game's story with the pure message of light and darkness and friendship and stuff that you'd find in a Disney movie, stuff that even connects with adults nowadays. Gameplay has aged in certain areas, specifically with the camera and the platforming, but I do think it's a great foundation for what the series built off of, and I still think it's very enjoyable. I used to think this game was mid, believe it or not, but then I stopped smoking my Kingdom Hearts 2 crack and went to rehab and got help. It's never too late, guys. Now is 2024. And a lot of stuff has happened, to put it mildly. There's 13 versions of the same character. Your favorite anime can't do that. Suck it, JJK! I don't watch anime. There's now ever-growing nostalgia for the original Kingdom Hearts game as we go further along in the series and the story balloons ever further. Going back to the simpler days where boy hit thing with car key and it died. I think there was a duck there too. And what does the gaming industry do with nostalgia nowadays? Make you do it again. Consume product or die. The trend nowadays is to wait about 10 or 20 years after original game's release and either do a port, remaster, or remake. Some quick definitions: a port is just ripping the original game's assets and putting it onto another platform. Remaster is where you upscale the original assets into HD, and a remake is just a ground-up new game using the original game as a basis. Kingdom Hearts has already gotten the remaster treatment with the HD remixes. Pretty much all Kingdom Hearts games are available on all platforms nowadays, but Square has really notably got on the remake train, doing stuff for the series of Mana, Star Ocean, and most notably Final Fantasy VII with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is not really a remake if you dig deep into it, but we're not going to talk about that. Square Enix is also remaking Dragon Quest 1 through 3 for modern platforms in the Octopath Traveler style. The only major series in Square Enix's lineup that hasn't gotten the remake treatment yet is Kingdom Hearts. So people are starting to wonder, will Kingdom Hearts 1 ever get a remake? With all those factors combined together, it would make sense for them to do it, right? Introduce the game and the series as a whole to a new generation and have just a great new game to have in the Kingdom Hearts series. The question is though, will they do it? Let's talk about it. Also, this video was partially inspired by Skyward Wing's video on the same subject. If you want to go check that out, I will leave a little eye up there for you to hit it up. I'm not going to make this video a gush session about why I think a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake should happen and how awesome it would be and why they should absolutely do it and how I'm going to camp out at Square Enix's headquarters until they do it. I'm going to go for a balanced approach. I'm going to present 3 different points going for a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake and 3 points going against one. And at the end, we'll make a determination, the positives and the negatives, and see whether or not they will actually do it and whether or not I think they should do it, because those are 2 very separate things. So, as an Italian plumber once said, down with the bourgeoisie. I mean, let's go. I think that's what he said. Let's start with the positives. Number 1, the opportunity to fix and adapt. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I think Kingdom Hearts 1 is still a great game. It still holds up great to this day, but there are still some problems with it. The camera is not very intuitive. It's kind of clunky, you know, trying to move it around to try and see what's going on. And I think they could have done it a little bit better if they had like a more fixed camera like they did in Kingdom Hearts 2. And that in turn makes the platforming kind of frustrating too, because you have to move the camera while you're trying to do the platforming and it just takes longer to do and it's not very fun. It feels like work while the rest of the game feels like fun. Some other ones like Atlantica's controls are very frustrating sometimes in that entire world, and that has aged not that well. The vines in Deep Jungle and also the gummy ship sections. Controls in those sections suck. I wish they did that better. But if you make a full remake of the game, you can go in and fix those issues and maybe not even have to worry about them in the first place, because they also have the opportunity to make it into a new style of gameplay altogether. A lot of the problems that I just listed are problems that people have with a lot of early 2000s games, because it was the early days of 3D gaming somewhat. So developers were still trying to figure out the controls for these kind of games, the mechanics for them, and how they should feel. And so they were kind of clunky as a result. This was also the first time that Square Enix made a game like this ever, so it makes sense that they would knock it out of the park exactly the first time, but it very much is a early 2000s game. And later Kingdom Hearts games did end up fixing those issues later on down the line. So making a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake with all the adaptations and the fixes that Kingdom Hearts has made over the years, I think it would be cool. I think if they made a game that's kind of a mix of Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3's gameplay with the more fixed camera angle and a little bit more energy into the gameplay itself, maybe not Kingdom Hearts 3 level energy, that's a little bit too much, redesign the levels around that system, and I think it would be a much more fluid experience. experience than it is in the original. I will admit though that it will be very hard to do that because they'd have to do a ground up remake of the game in that case because of how much smaller the individual rooms in the worlds are in that game based on that system. So they would have to do a full on just redesign of everything in that game. But if they're going to make a full on remake, why not go all out? And for more modern and younger audiences, they're going to be accustomed to that kind of gameplay style, so it will feel more natural to them when they pick up the game like that. We're trying to market a game towards them, so. Also, Unreal Engine 5 graphics, humna. So I think it would be a great opportunity to address the issues of the original and kind of adapt it to a modern style. Speaking of getting new fans, sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans, I know those words offend you. Number 2, a potential series revival. Kingdom Hearts is in a weird place. I mean, it's always been in a weird place, but it's especially weird now. It's been over 5 years since Kingdom Hearts 3. It's been over 2 years since Kingdom Hearts 4 was even announced, and we haven't even heard news about that game since then. The last big Kingdom Hearts release period was about 4 years ago with Melody and Memory, and Missing Link is, you know, I think we're definitely at a low point for Kingdom Hearts as of right now because of the wait that we have to do for the next game. People are very frustrated with how Kingdom Hearts 3 turned out. I don't agree with that stuff, but that's a big sentiment I see in my comment section. And while you love the story, a lot of people find it a little bit confusing and frustrating, and so they're starting to leave the series because of it. But a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake has the opportunity to kind of revive the series and bring a lot of people back. It will remind them of the good old days, the days when boy hit thing with Key and it died. That was it. That's all you had to do. It will bring back a lot of good memories they had about the game as a kid and how much they loved it, and experiencing it in a new light, in a new way, could make them view the series in a different way. Have them start discussing Kingdom Hearts again and bring a lot of people back. But most importantly, it will bring a lot more people in, especially younger people. It will probably have the same appeal that it did to us back when we were kids playing the game for the first time. Because that game, I think a lot of people got in based on the Disney element alone. That's kind of why I did it. Disney and younger people are just bread and butter. They go together perfectly. And while Disney is in a lot of hate right now, I do think a lot of younger people still are really into them. So if they come out with this game, kind of keep the story the same, have a little bit more simpler, just a story about Sora trying to find his friends in the darkness and stuff like that, I think it will appeal to younger people a lot. As long as they keep that story though. Keep that in mind. We can see a lot more energy and newer people get into the Kingdom Hearts series, and in my opinion, that's a great thing. And number 3, money. Cash, moolah, bank, gas, cheddar. There is a reason why remakes and remasters are so popular nowadays. Because it makes them money. Nostalgia in any industry, not just gaming, is a very powerful tool, and if you use it correctly, you can make cash on cash on cash. So if Square Enix went ahead and decided to remake Kingdom Hearts 1, there is the high potential for them to make some big bank on that. They call me Scrooge McDuck with this money pit. They call me Scrooge McDuck when I fuck your Some of these remakes and remasters sell millions and millions, if not even tens of millions of copies. So if they played their cards right when marketing this thing, they could go to the fucking bank with this shit and have it be like the best selling game in the series. Though Square Enix is known for having way too high of expectations for games sometimes, if a game does not sell 7 million copies within a month, they want to take it out back and shoot it like it never even fucking happened. But I think it would be a lucrative deal for them if they went about it the right way. Those are the positives. Now, let's go to the negatives. Number 1, development strain. The Kingdom Hearts team seems to have a lot on their plate right now. They got Kingdom Hearts 4 going on, and that seems to be taking longer than I expected to, at least to reveal something new about the game. So maybe that's in some sort of development limbo right now. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes. They have Missing Link, which we know is going through some trouble right now, whatever the fuck's going on with that. And probably some other unannounced projects that we don't even know about. So if the Kingdom Hearts team and Tetsuya Nomura were the ones to make it, and if there was ever one to be made, I would prefer it to be that way. Adding another thing on top of their plate right now may just cause things to go even slower. They'd have to basically be developing 2 large-scale games at the same time while Missing Link is going on at the same time too. Not to relegate it to like the kids table, but you know, it's not the same size. People want a shorter wait time with Kingdom Hearts 4 because Kingdom Hearts 3, there was 5.5 years in between the announcement and release of that game. And we're already reaching 2 years, almost 2.5 years with the announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4. So if they added a full-on Kingdom Hearts remake on their plate, I think that would just make things go even more slower and people would just get even more frustrated. I know you want it real bad, but you got to realize these things take time. The obvious solution to this would be getting another team inside Square Enix that can do it, have them handle the project, or get another outside studio to handle it while they focus on Kingdom Hearts 4. But Tetsuya Nomura himself also has a lot on his plate right now. Of course, you have to be involved with the project in some way. He's directing Kingdom Hearts 4. He's overseeing Missing Link. He's also co-directing the Final Fantasy VII Remake game. That's a lot of stuff going on for that one man right now. So to add another project on top of that would be a little crazy. And also, if they went with the outside third-party studio on the project, it would cost them more to make it because they'd have to split the revenue with them and pay some fees or whatever. And Square Enix doesn't like handing out their IP IP to outside studios that often. Check out Final Fantasy Fortress for that. So it probably would end up being the main Kingdom Hearts team, and it would just make things everywhere else just go slower. Number 2, continued confusion. Now, I will say this would only be a problem if they go in a similar direction that they took Final Fantasy VII Remake. As in making a lot of story changes and meta elements to where it's not even on the same timeline anymore. Whether or not that was Tetsuya Nomura's influence, I'll leave that up to you. But if they do something similar with this game, change up a lot of the things in the story, do a lot of unnecessary like meta elements in it, and making it connect to Kingdom Hearts 4, or say like this game is in another universe in of itself, and they start a new timeline with that, and it's somehow connected with the new universe, and it's blah blah blah. I think that might be the breaking point for a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans. Again, you may like the story for what it is, you may like deep diving into the story like that, that's on you, but that's not the majority opinion. The ever-growing meme of the complication of the Kingdom Hearts story, adding all of these new characters and story arcs and confusing plot narratives and all this stuff, that's what a lot of people view the series as. And if they go ahead and do that kind of stuff with this Kingdom Hearts 1 remake, make it overly complicated, I think it will just do way more harm than good. A lot of Kingdom Hearts fans might say, oh, well, they just don't understand the story, so they should just leave anyway. But that's not the point of what we're trying to do here. We'll have the exact opposite effect of what they're trying to do. They would not bring back the old fans, and the new fans, they just won't have any idea what's going on, period. Making them very confused and maybe not really enjoy it. They just made a full-on straight remake of the game, no story changes, anything like that, and just did it just for the sake of having an updated version of the game. I think people will just be really satisfied with that. But since we have the HD remixes, I don't know if they could justify themselves doing that. They'd have to do something different. And if it was that, I don't know. Small changes and additions, that's fine. But full-on new timelines or anything like that, no please. And finally, number 3, is it even necessary? Like I mentioned in the beginning, the game still holds up. The game's still great. It is not something that is so outdated and looks so bad in comparison to things on modern platforms that making a remake is just 100% justified. They need to do it. Most of the series as a whole is on modern platforms now. You can buy the all-in-one collection on PS5 or PC and just get the entire series that way. And even though the game released back in 2002, the graphics I think still hold up great to this day. And while there are problems with the original, that doesn't mean it's unplayable. People still play it a lot. In fact, I think they play it way more than they used to back in the day, thanks to the HD remixes. And there's still people joining the series just based off the HD remixes. People buy the all-in-one collection, I think, all the time on like PS4 or PC, and they get to experience the series that way. If they got the games on Switch properly, I think that would have been a great entry for them. But anyways, there's not really a need for a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake, at least right now. If they're gonna do it, it won't be because they need to, it's because they want to. And they may not want to. And that's fine. Unless Disney gives them some mandate that they need to do it. And in that case, they'll need to do it to please the mouse. Now, got that out of the way. I present to you the pros and the cons. And now that we're at the end here, let's try to make a determination. Based on everything we've said, will Kingdom Hearts 1 get a remake? Yeah, I could see it happening. Square Enix is a business at the end of the day. Their end goal is to make money in whatever way possible. And if they look at a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake and see that they could potentially make a big return on investment, they could go ahead and do that. And I do think it would be a lucrative thing for them to do. It would be something to definitely re-energize and rejuvenate the series at a low point, as I've been talking about, and it would get a lot more people in, bring a lot more people back, bake off their nostalgia. Also, the pretty graphics that they have with the Unreal Engine 5. With all that combined together, if they play their cards right, they could make something very successful out of a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. And I think it would be a net positive in terms of getting more people in and having a new thing at all for Kingdom Hearts, because God, give me something, please. I am desperate over here. Not just because this helps pay my bills, but also just because I just need something else to talk about, man. There are those drawbacks that I listed before, but weighing the positives and the negatives, I do think that Square Enix might see a net positive in doing this, not only financially, but for the series as a whole, so they might go ahead and do it. Final Fantasy VII Remake was extremely successful despite all that stuff, so why not? Though at the end of the day, it's really going to be up to Nomura because he is the director of the series. It's his baby, and he really makes all the final decisions on it. So who knows what he really thinks on it? I didn't find anything about him talking about it. So he may want it, he may not. He's an enigma. Who really knows? Now, for my opinion, do I think there should be a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake? No. I actually don't think there should be one at all. I think the game is perfectly fine the way it is. No need to do anything with it. The aesthetics still hold up to this day. The graphics still hold up to this day. The story, I think, is great. I don't think they need to do any changes to that. The gameplay, while it is flawed, I think that's just one of the quirks of it, and I think that's what makes it so special. It's annoying, but I still love the game regardless. I think it would just take valuable time away from the main games, Kingdom Hearts 4 or Missing Link or whatever comes in the future, and I think that they should just keep moving forward instead of looking back. That's my opinion. But I don't have any say on whether or not they're going to do it or not, obviously. I'm just a YouTuber who does things on the internet. So if they actually went ahead and did it and actually had a good pitch about it, I'd probably be on board. Again, it'd be something rather than just nothing. I think it would be something that's exciting at the very least, and I do think it would be something that would bring a lot more people in and a lot more older people back. And again, I do think that would be a good thing. But if for some reason I was the one to make the decision on this, I would say no. Let's just keep going with the other stuff. Let's focus on the future. Anyways, that's just my opinion on the subject. Tell me down in the comments below what you guys think about this. Do you think there will be a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake? Do you think there should be a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake? Do you think they would ever do it in the near future? Do you think they'd wait even longer to do it from now? What would your most wanted kind of things in this remake be? Tell me down in the comments your opinion. Also, make sure to subscribe, like this video, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server, turn on notifications. Really awesome if you did. This has been Matt, and I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that's gonna be. So yeah, bye.
I'm Guardian!